Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham, mostly, and such. So this isn't the right page. There's always something wrong with everything I do lately. That's last week's video, and so we don't need that. We need this one. Yeah. Alright, so, yeah. So the agenda is still defining the idea of what has to be accomplished, which is, I have to say certain words. You hear the words and you go, oh yeah, I get that, that makes sense, I agree. Or you say something like, I can say that even better. I would use this analogy, something like that. So you either constructively respond in some way where you improve the statement or the argument, or you say, no, I have a counter argument so much better. Life is good. The companies tell you that. Yeah. It must be true. Companies wouldn't lie to us. Yeah, come on. Anyway, so that's the agenda. It's just this basic idea of, if you're going to make a counter argument, then yeah, make it, in some sort of form where it's going to compel me to say, yeah, I see what you're saying. But you have to do that part. You have to actually say something where I'm going to say, yeah, I understand what you're saying, instead of saying something like, what the hell are you talking about? That's not the response you want. So anyway, let's commence with the video. Yeah, portion of the video. The video portion of the video. Alright. Some respects, they're more capable of making a smart argument. But that's all we can do, is make arguments based on what we've compiled as information. So I'm just sort of making the argument that yes, we're bots. So the title of the video is Bot to Bot. It's just robotic crap, compiled arguments, compiled metaphors, compiled scenarios, visualizations, that kind of thing. Just trying to explain that car crash bad, car not crashing good, and then we explain no cars good. There's no bad if there's no cars, kind of, you can just make the arguments that we don't need Martians on Mars and we don't need Earthlings on Earth. And the fact is that Earth is in a lot more pain than Mars, so don't make a sciatic nerve, then you won't have sciatic pain, you see? Really simple. Yeah, it's really simple, frankly. But it is bot to bot. It's just robotic talk. Okay, so it's just computers arguing with each other, and it's computers that have shitty operating systems versus computers that do pretty good. So it's like a calculator that adds 2 plus 2 and gets 4, and it's arguing with a calculator, that says 2 plus 2 is 7. And it's like, oh, come on. Stupid fucking piece of shit. And it's just really hard to retrain the stupid calculators. It's got a lot of negative baggage in terms of it's not really doing this Jesus love thing. It's doing a judgmental. Okay, yeah, so religion, and just pointing out how, even the fake notion that the religious people are these good-hearted, sympathetic, blah, 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 is all pretty much a lie. They're really just gluttonous cheaters who, want to force other people to live by their crippled psychology. They have a crippled psychology. They're afraid, they're this, they're that, and they want to force everybody else to be afraid and crippled and stupid because they don't like that other people can run faster than them. So they want to try to break their legs. There's not much difference, okay? They're just basically saying, I'm a cow who is locked in a barn, and I want to force all the other cows to be locked in barns, okay? Because I don't want them to be having fun I can't have. It really is shittily motivated. I mean, religious people are not nice people. They're scummy people. Anyway, sort of a sidetrack. So it's just, these are just little simple arguments about what the facts are, that we're sitting in. We're sitting in this reality and it has certain facts. Yeah, and so that's really just the story, right? And so it's obviously I'm compiling the facts my way, you're compiling them your way. Really, there shouldn't be much room for a whole lot of substantial disagreement about what's good and what's bad. Maybe we can both agree that it's bad to, walk up to somebody and stick a nail in their eye. Maybe you get that part. you know, but we go a little tiny bit further in terms of the scenario, and all of a sudden we're not going to agree, and not agree about things that really shouldn't be. There really isn't any room for disagreement, frankly. I mean, religions are nonsense. They're just fables. They're just silly stories. They're just Santa Claus stories. And it's really, really an insult to our intelligence to propagate and say, oh, it makes good sense for human robots to be controlled by those silly stories. Bruh. Button have experience that you don't have, and people who are on the negative end of being a minority, so just talking some more about the building character thing, which I've often talked about, and how we benefit from the harm that happens to us in a lot of cases. It does make you more empathetic, more sympathetic, more all of these things. It gives you more awareness. So if you're always leading the race, you really don't understand the race. You don't know what it's like to have dirty goggles. You don't know, so I mean, you have to be a loser to really appreciate what the game is in some respects, and to have a true sense of what actually is taking place. Because if you're in the front, you don't smell the smells, you don't all the brutal realities never come your way. It's the one person getting the sloppy seconds who has the greater appreciation. Cling to it because it's something that's given them comfort. It's like some kind of aspect. And so just again talking about religion and how it's just such this it is that trivial. I mean, just because you have a psychological problem and can't deal with the scariness of reality, and you run to some silly fable for comfort, like it's all going to be all right. I mean, I'll turn the light switch on and off 5 times, and I'll make it all. It's like you have a compulsive disorder. I mean, that's all the religion really is some sort of compulsive disorder, some superstition thing. Where I think I can gain control if I say my voodoo words. I mean, it really is just really stupid that people fall for this crap. And to the story, and we're somehow going to be integrated into this silly fable of. Oh yeah, so again, more metaphors about just it's like you're going to be put into the 3 Bears story, and somehow they're going to make all that crap make some sort of sense, when no chance it's going to ever make any sense. It's just stupid, and they ought to just admit it's childish and it's for babies. It's not something somebody does with a grown-up brain. Is pretend it's all going to be all right, and they're going to have control, and it'll all be all right, and they're going to have control. No, you're not going to have any of that stuff. That it puts real Microsoft mail in the spam folder, and the fake ones get through. And you're just saying, how is that even possible? How could there? So I was just making fun of Outlook. Just because I was forced to use it because of GoDaddy, a hosting company. So I was forced to use it, and it was just like, oh man, this is so bad compared to the public domain kind of open source Thunderbird. Nice, rational, clean interface. No bullshit, and it's just nothing but bullshit. Outlook is just covered with moron. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. You can't even cut and paste. So you can't paste with your mouse text into an email. You have to hit Control V. I mean, those kind of things are just, you're like, Microsoft can't figure out how to make the mouse paste. I mean, that's you're just like saying, no, that can't be, they can't not be able to figure that out. I mean, that's just such a simple function. You're saying, no, they can't, what the hell is that? That's just too stupid. I can't paste? Yeah. I mean, that's just a huge giveaway that they just couldn't care less. There's similarities and matches, making pattern matches, and doing it all in the context. Yeah, so that's all we're doing. Our brain is just taking in information, just like your mechanical device, and your brain is mechanical, and it just takes in these photons, matches patterns, matches this. He takes in the sound, the words, matches the words, matches words in sentences, figures out that there's a different context between there and there. Oh, there's two theirs. There's their possession person. There's there, like over there. And it figures out all these little silly details, but it's all mechanical. It's all just, there's nothing spiritual about the fact that your brain can figure out, okay, we have the same word for two different things. So I have to be aware of the context when I hear that word. Troublesome. So I guess you could say the Romans sort of ran into this problem. Alright, so I was trying to get to the subject of, democracy versus dictatorship, and I really didn't get to it with Rome, just pointing out how, yes, they went from a dictatorship that frankly worked pretty good, and, a senate, a small number of people controlling, and then gave it to the people, and then the whole thing went to shit. Democracy destroyed Rome. It could be argued that was a big mistake. Caesar was a much better idea. Caesar with a little bit of democracy. Caesar with a little bit of democracy to kind of keep Caesar in bounds worked a lot better than give it to the people, because the people vote for crap that is impossible and stupid, because the people are, the average person is a lot dumber than the smartest person. Won't come up with the right strategy because they're too poorly motivated. The democracy is just a bunch of... then I went into the special interest stuff. That's just a bunch of special interest, and they're all extorting, I won't vote for your guy unless you give us what we want. So everything has to be compromised into shit to placate all the little special interest groups. And even I have to argue or advocate for, well, that's what you have to do. You really have to give yourself a gang so you can play the gang warfare fight. So you need 1 million followers, and then you can bribe the two parties to, which one of you will give us what we want. And that's all that takes place in the world now. The democracies are just a bunch of special interests. There is no, civilization isn't the interest. Placating a bunch of extortionists is the interest. The opposite. The empire was almost giving it away for free. So it was a trade war. It wasn't a war. All right, I was talking about American independence and how that's all basically a lie. That these fellows weren't really, they called it their sacred fortune. They weren't risking. They were risking their sacred fortune, but they weren't investing it. They were just doing it in a way to, capital gain. To increase their profits was what they're really looking for. It was just theft, frankly. The Americans basically just wanted to steal what Britain had invested in. And that's all. Not much else to the story. And they just pretended it was because they were horribly oppressed. They really weren't any more oppressed than anybody else anywhere else on planet Earth. We know there can't be anybody who's honest that says they can't figure that out. This is the nail in the eye and the cupcake thing. So, no honest person is going to say, well, if I was going to make a universe, I couldn't figure out whether if I made me in the universe and there was nothing else, just me, I can't figure out whether it would be a good idea to have a nail in my eye or a cupcake. It's not an objective truth. It's really, I just have to subjectively say, which one do I feel better about? I can't figure out that it's kind of obvious that pain sensations are intrinsically negative, and that every conscious organism that feels pain knows I'd rather not do that. I'd rather do that pleasure thing. I mean, you have to be insanely dishonest to pretend you can't see the value difference between feeling good and feeling bad. If you can't see the value difference between those two states of being, or you're going to pretend you can't see it as an objective truth, then yeah, fuck you. You're a waste of computing. You're not computing well at all. Okay. Mess and then clean up half of it. So I was sort of just getting to the end game that all this conversation is just for the purpose, okay, is to rescue tortured things from perpetual torture. And this is what you have to do to rescue things from perpetual torture. You can't just go run over to the perpetual torture and break the door down, stop the torture. No, I have to go through all of you morons to get to the solution. And that's really sad and unfortunate. You can't just, you can't just physically stop it. You have to go through this process to get you people to understand that if we collectively pull on the plug, we can stop harming things forever, which would be a very nice thing to do for all the harmables. They will thank you if they could. If you go visit the who you prevented from being tortured people, they would say, thank you for preventing me from being tortured. I really appreciate it. If somebody in the past stopped my parents from having me, I would be very grateful. I would be saying, yeah, thanks, I didn't need all that crap. It really just was crap. 99% crap with a little bit of whipped cream and a cherry. Alright, that. I should be able to just go to this exposure thing. Okay, so then I was just talking some details about how the computer is fucked up. Anyway, so that was the video. Not too bad, I don't think. A little shorter than the usual. 10 minutes short, I think. 5 minutes anyway. Blah blah blah. I have a bit of a back issue. It's really in my hip, but it's my sciatic nerve, no doubt, causing the disturbance in the in the equilibrium, the pain. Anyway, so till the next time and such. So this is the project. I mean, so all of you are different computers, and you're all broken in some kind of stupid way, and I have to find some bits of information on a disk, some little beep 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 beep, and I throw that disk into your drive, and bingo, it fixes your brokenness. And it does it for each different thing that's broken. Somehow it's a universal fixer. So that's hard to do. Now, I don't have to do it for everybody, right? I just have to do it for enough people to cause enough of a stampede, to get enough, so we can fight the gang warfare, so we can fight the political fight. So eventually that would be the ambition, is to have enough of the democracy to be a special interest advocate and oblige migration to a civilization that has more respect for torture and the fact that you should minimize it. You shouldn't let reckless, stupid morons torture things. Just a fact. See, we passed some laws against that. We have laws where you can't torture like a rat or something. But we're not protecting humans from it. We're not protecting humans from being created by people way dumber than Dr. Frankenstein. I mean, way dumber. So anyway, enough said, I think, for now, and we'll wait till next time to say some more. Anyway, till then and such. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, till the next time. Blah, 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 blah.